Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ken Frederick Podcast, episode 42, KFP Top 5 Favorite TV Shows. I want to say thank you for listening, and if you found us on the interwebs, check us out at kfpodcast.com, facebook.com/kfpodcast, and Ken Fred Podcast on the Twitter. So we got Don and Justin on the show today.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about our favorite TV shows.
Actually, Ken, this is a KFP Top 5 times 2.
Oh.
And why are we doing 2 top 5s?
Because you want us to do 10 things, so we can't have a top 10. We're going to do two top 5s.
Well, because we had the disagreement that when I said let's do top 5, let's do shows, you said, is this sitcoms or dramas? And I said, let's separate them because I can't decide. I have a favorite hour-long drama show and I have a favorite sitcom.
See, I don't like any.
You don't have any. So Ken couldn't come up with any, so this ought to be pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, should we jump right into it?
Yeah, let's make like a poll and dive in head first.
So, we're going to do, since I don't have my list in front of me, I had going first?
You have Justin going first.
So, we're going to start off with
TV dramas.
/
hour-long action shows. /
All right, so this one, when I was going through the notes this morning, this one was the easiest for me. I rattled off my top 5 favorite.
That fast.
Hour like that. I mean, there wasn't even a question.
It was like Dallas, Knots Landing, Falcon Crest, Fantasy Island, done.
It was like jerking off in the shower. He just knocked it out.
So, in
Falcon Crest.
My mom used to watch Falcon Crest.
and I guess this is kind of in order, I guess.
Well, I would hope, since I asked you to put it in order, damn it.
Shut up. So we're starting from 5?
Yes.
No, start from 3, go to 4.
Do it like Perry did that one day, and he was like, well, that was my number 4, this was 1. We were like, what order are you going in?
All right. So
No, we're going to do it like this. This is the top 5 favorite shows by Justin. In at number 5.
Flash.
Ugh.
Oh, already. It's one of your favorites, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just a good show.
There you go.
It's one of those shows.
Like it because I like it, Don.
Shut up, man. It's just one of those shows. It's usually from these superhero shows. It's more upbeat.
I'm writing down other shows that I think you're going to say.
Okay. So if
can I do this too?
Yeah, go
you can write down see if you got all 5. I made these guys a bet on text messages this morning while we were talking about this that I said I'm so predictable. I bet both of you can get all 5 of my top shows. Maybe not in order, but you can guess all 5.
Okay.
So anyway, I'll move on.
Moving on.
With Flash, it's a good show. I can sit down and no matter what mood I'm in, I end up enjoying the show and I'm in a better mood.
I want to see the show that I have to stand and watch and be miserable the times. Oh, it's this show again.
Well,
all right, we're taking forever. Go in at number 4.
Number 4, Arrow.
Got it.
Got it.
All right.
Circle gets a square.
And it's comic book shows, nerd shows. I love these.
And you have a little bit of a gay thing with Stephen Amell.
Oh yeah.
You have a little bit of a man crush on Stephen Amell.
I won't deny that.
If he came up to you and was like, Justin, I'm going to need you to do something you're not going to want to do, you'd be like, is Dawn and Ken looking? All right. I guess I can handle it.
You're from like 6 to 3:15.
Can I guest star on Arrow? Yeah, you can do those impossible chin-ups with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So in at number 3, and this is a show I have to thank Dawn for.
Okay.
For I was late to the ball game. I used to watch this show.
That's a weird name for a show. It's just this guy with like things. It's like, I'll never make it to the game on time.
Today's show, the Indians and Pirates are playing, and I'm gonna be late to the ball game.
Like, the Liberty Bridge. Womp womp.
Next week, he's trying to go see the Browns and Steelers play, but he gets caught up on the bus. Late to the ball game. All right, what is it? It's Supernatural.
It's Supernatural.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Got that one too.
And like I said,
know you're 1 and 2s.
I was late to this show because I never watched it when it first came out. Don said, he's like, why don't you watch the show? It's a good show. You should check it out. And over the last probably 4 weeks, I've binge watched almost 11 years worth of the show.
That's crazy.
So that's number 3. Number 2,
Yeah.
Angel.
I knew it. All right. And I know number 1. I got this all figured out.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So Angel was a spinoff of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
And that was my high school and college thing. I think it was on Tuesday nights, and that was
It was?
before like the internet and texting and whatnot. So if anybody called me during the hour of that show,
Right.
I would get pissed at people and I just love that show. I've always been
I think they were really shows that really started this like cult following.
Yeah.
Having a fandom that you kind of follow. I think Buffy and Angel started all that.
I think you're right. And
People were into shows like now, like Vampire Diaries and all these other ones because of Buffy and Angel.
yeah, I agree. And then leading into my number 1 of all time,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All right.
And like I just said, this was my high school years.
Sarah Michelle Gellar was
Sarah,
the shit
Sarah
back
Michelle Gellar was my high school crush. I loved her.
She was awesome.
It
What a
was
great cast.
Yeah, good cast. It was well.
You never
it was
watched
well
these
written.
shows, huh?
I never watched any of these shows.
Surprised.
Excellent TV. I do have the 2
Honorable mention.
honorable mentions.
All right, go ahead.
Again, these are both pretty easy.
All right.
I'll just no order. Walking Dead and Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I had those on your list that you had. It would have one.
Okay.
So
All right. So that's the Cheese top 5.
top 5
Hour-long drama shows,
dramas.
action shows, everything that's longer than a heck on that sitcom. All right. Now we're going to the big guy for some madness.
So I took.
And then number 5.
Well, I just want to say that mine is TV drama / action shows / hour-long cooking shows because I don't watch drama. I don't like.
I can't believe you never watched these when you were a kid either, or in high school.
No. High school was.
It's just jerking off most of the time.
Well, I never had a television in my room.
It just didn't even face you. Didn't even face
Yeah,
you.
whatever. I didn't have a television in my bedroom, so I would have to watch whatever was on the big TV, like in the living room.
Okay.
And my parents aren't going to let me pick anything, so it was Dallas and Knots Landing and whatever. So I
Okay.
never had that option. So I was always listening to music or reading a comic or playing with toys.
Do you need a hug, or are we over?
No, I'm fine. I actually feel like that is also why I don't have a television in my room now. Like I think that
I know you and this. I can't have a television in my room. Shit that you go off on all the time.
I
We
think
get it.
I think there's only one television in the house.
All right.
But anyways, so my in at number
And
5.
that concludes the You Should Only Have a TV in Your Living Room podcast. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to talk about you should only have one toaster and one fridge and one toilet seat. All right, and we'll be back.
Well, you can have more if you have a bigger house.
Okay,
but that's
go
fine.
ahead.
So in at number 5,
right.
I have Chopped on the Food Network. I love Chopped.
All right.
Dawn, I started watching it, and whenever me and Dawn would hang out late, we'd watch Chopped, and I would go over.
I love Chop.
I love watching and try to figure out what they should cook based on what they have.
And let me just say, Ken surprises the shit out of me with his food knowledge. Like, me and him were watching Chopped one day, and this is how I watch Chopped. When they go, there's a steak in here and some M&Ms and some wine, and they're like, what do you do with it? And I'm like, well, you cook the steak with a side of M&Ms and a glass of wine. I'm like, I don't know. And then Ken's over like, no, what you're going to do is you're going to make a crust out of this, and you're going to and you're going to flambe it and saute it and infuse. And I'm like, holy shit, you know what you're talking about.
And let me just add to this. I didn't believe this until I hung out with them one night after hanging out here and watched an episode of Chopped with Ken.
And we're so confused. Like, I don't know, blend everything in a blender and make a milkshake.
Well, you're with your M&M analogy. I'm like, well, you eat the M&Ms while you're grilling the steak and you drink the wine, and then you have to go out to the store and get another bottle of wine because you drank the whole bottle of wine
He
while you
was
were
so
grilling.
into it. It was amazing.
Me and Mindy will watch Chopped for hours and be like, and that's just like, all right, and we'll just sit there and talk about it and watch Chopped. But then it goes into my number 4,
right.
which is
Cutthroat
Kitchen, which I love. And that show,
I can't watch that show.
Isn't that the one where Gordon Ramsay just yells at people?
No,
No,
that's
'cause
the
I
one
hate-
where that's the one where they give you goofy things to do. You have to wash all your dishes in a and a baby swimming pool and cook with big oven mitts on it. I can't take it. But
that show, when me and Mindy first started dating, because she didn't have cable at her house, so she'd come over. We'd watch Cutthroat Kitchen on Netflix.
I thought the guy that hosts Cutthroat Kitchen and Chopped were the same guy for the longest time.
Do you remember when we watched Chopped Canada and David Goulet was there?
Chopped Canada's fantastic. Robert Goulet. Yeah. Not only Robert Goulet, it looks like Will Ferrell playing Robert Goulet is the host of Chopped Canada. They look like the same person. And I said that a bunch of times and Saber's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Then I showed it to her and she was like, oh my God, it totally is.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, in at number 3.
Number 3 is Daredevil on Netflix.
Okay.
I really like that show. I have some issues with it, but the Punisher's in it, which is one of my favorite comic book characters.
Yep.
I think that it was that's everything a superhero show to me should be.
And more. I agree.
So I think
fantastic.
So that's it at number 3.
Okay.
Number 2 is Sherlock. I've never watched a show like that, and I've talked.
You are a big fan of Sherlock, yeah.
Any show that's actually like a movie and it just ties together in a series 3 episodes long.
That's a weird show. 3 shows, 3 8-hour episodes or whatever.
And then the Christmas episode where he takes so many drugs that he hallucinates.
The Christmas episode.
And he goes back in time. It's great. Yeah. So it's great writing.
Good.
And then number 1 is Game of Thrones. I think that show's great. I rewatched it when Mindy was getting into it, and I liked it even more. Mm-hmm. And that's my criteria for favorite shows too. Is I had to watch all of them.
Yeah.
That's what.
See, when I put my list together like this, I didn't include shows like that in this. I guess I was in a different mindset. Because those shows to me are so much different than a regular network show to me. Or what I had in mind when I was making my list is the standard 22 episodes long. It goes through a whole season.
We'll see
It's not one of these or Game of Thrones is I feel like when I watch Game of Thrones, I need to drink afterwards.
Yeah,
because it's so damn intense.
But that's what I like about it, and that's why I don't get anything out of watching network television. Yeah. It's I don't get anything out of it. When I watch NCIS with Mindy, there's no way I'm putting this on my top 10 list because to me it's I'll eat ramen noodles all day, and that's NCIS to me, and that's whatever. It's enjoyable, and I get a kick out of it. But
ramen noodles is NCIS.
But Game of Thrones is this is some good shit. This is what I look forward to. This is why I pay an exorbitant amount in cable, so I can watch Game of Thrones.
All right. You have any honorable mentions?
No, not in that one. I have honorable mentions later.
No honorable mentions. Nothing else in there Chopped Canada's an honorable mention.
No.
Or NCIS Los Angeles.
I used to watch Top Chef, but now I don't know what channel it's on, and I don't bother looking for it.
You don't even throw NCIS in your honorable mention?
Nah.
Surprising.
I mean, it's on.
Cool.
I feel like that, Impractical Jokers is something I love to watch, but I wouldn't put that
I love your list. It's so all over the place.
But...
All righty.
Done.
All right, my turn. Now, you are going to laugh at some of these, and we're going to have, you can do your little write-down.
I already have mine down.
You already have it down, okay.
Right.
So we're going to start by off. In at number 5, you're going to really crack up with this. Number 5 for me is Baywatch.
Oh, God.
Now, the reason being is, when I was a single guy or whatever, I used to watch Baywatch every night. I mean, I don't think I've ever watched Baywatch in any particular order. It was just always on, and it would always, cheer me up.
Always keep them running.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time where, I don't know how old I was, but every time that television was on, if it wasn't Saturday Night Live on a Saturday night, it would just go right into Baywatch.
And no matter what kind of mood I was in, if I'd watch the beginning of Baywatch with the song and all the running and everything, it would make me laugh. It put me in a good mood, make me laugh because it's so comical. And I don't know, I always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed the drama about it. I always liked looking forward to what new girls were going to be on every year. And I don't know, it was always one of my favorite experiences for the 12 years it was on was catching it. And even now when I catch it on whatever weird channel it's on, I'll watch it. I'll be like, oh, I got to watch it. It's good. So number 4, similar to your list, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Mm-hmm. Buffy was the first show that I ever started paying attention to the seasons and what was going on. Mostly when I watch a show, it'd be I'd watch it and be I didn't watch it again for 3 weeks later. I'd be I'm not paying. Buffy was the first show where I was watched the first episode and I was hooked, and I'd wait for the next one. I was worrying about what the story was going to be. I followed it in depth. We follow Flash in that now. Yeah. Buffy started it all for me. Buffy started nerd shows for me on television. I always thought everything about it was just so cool, and didn't like the way it ended, but wish it would have went excuse me, a little longer. It is one of the only shows though that changed networks, like at its prime, and go to a new network and be successful.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Did it go, or I thought it was the name of the network changed?
It left because they were all on. Buffy and Angel were on, like, what was it, the WB at the time?
Yeah, the WB.
And Buffy left and went to the Paramount network, which merged and became CW.
Okay.
But it left and went to Paramount, and then Buffy and Angel didn't cross over anymore. Because they used to cross over all the time. Like Justin said, Tuesday night was great night of TV because you'd watch Buffy, and then on Angel, like, Buffy would be on there or vice versa. And then Buffy leaves and goes to, like, UPN or whatever.
It was UPN.
Yeah, and you were like... And you were like, oh, they don't cross over anymore. And it wasn't until the last season finally David Boreanaz came back over and like did a guest appearance and all that. But like it really ruined it because they couldn't cross the shows over anymore.
And if you can't have Aurora Borealis on your Buffy show, then what's the point of living?
But it was, and then everything became the CW at the end. But that was Buffy. 3 for me is Supernatural. Again, 11 seasons of just pure greatness. I always find myself with this show thinking, this is going to be it, and then it gets better. And sometimes I've even gotten, like, where there's been, like, an episode that's kind of boring, and I'll be like, and then next week I don't watch the next one. And then when I finally get it, and then I have, like, 4 on the DVR, I'll watch them all in a row, 'cause I'm like, wow, that was good. Like, man, those were all intense. Like, I really like those. And I could see watching on Netflix. It's a great Netflix watch. Because Netflix, they don't want you to stop watching TV.
You just...
a show ends and it literally pops up and they go, where are you going? Next one's starting right now. It's 4 seconds. Look, I need a drink, Netflix. I got to go back. You don't need a drink. Next episode's starting right now.
There were a couple Fortunately, I didn't allow myself to do this during the week. There were a couple weekend nights where I looked up. It was 4 a.m.
Yeah, and
Netflix
you
is like,
can't help
here's
it.
another episode for you.
Where are you going? And even when the season ends, they're like, we're starting the next season right now. They cut out the intro and all that. Just go right into it.
Yeah, Netflix is a bitch.
Netflix is a bitch.
Because it's also like I'm on Sundays we'll binge watch Netflix and it's like when are we starting dinner? It's like well not for another hour because we're gonna watch.
We're into it. Well, I already hit OK for the next one. I literally have to reach for the remote and go no, like no, I'm going to bed. It's 3 a.m. Enough Netflix.
That countdown where it's like 5, 4. It's like a bomb going off at the house. It's like hurry up and turn on the Xbox. And it's just like shit's going down.
You are watching the next episode. It starts now.
Well, and the thing about that is I always like to watch episodes at night, especially during the week, the work week. I would justify extra episodes, but I'm like, it's only 42 minutes. I can get 2 episodes in like an hour and a half.
I'm supposed to be in the meeting in 20 minutes, but why not? I can get through one more episode. All right, so number 2 for me, speaking of Buffy, is Angel. Angel's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Angel's better than Buffy.
Angel was better than Buffy because Buffy was good for what it was. It was very like they're in high school. It's campy and a lot of jokes. Angel took it out to L.A. It was more like a superhero show. Okay. He had like his own little super team with him, and it was crime fighting and fighting monsters, and it was a little bit more edgy. He was fighting like an evil law firm and all that. The thing that sucked about Angel though was after they did their 100th episode in their 5th season. Josh Whedon, they were going to do another year. They were coming back for another year. So the big ending they were going to do, like he's battling this law firm, and it's like, okay, we got all this going on, and we're going to develop into this next season. And then they pull him in the room one day, because he actually turned down the role in, he was supposed to be Superman, he was supposed to audition against Brandon Roth.
Okay.
And then they brought him in a room, and they were like, we're canceling it. You have 3 episodes left. It's over. Like, this CW or WB just screwed him. And then Josh Whedon, the way he wrote the last 3, he was like, we're killing everybody.
Yeah.
and that was it. And Angel just goes on a killing spree, killing everybody. Every villain they went after, and they were like, chop their head off, stab this guy. They literally just, the last episode, kill every villain that they've ever, like, encountered. And then the gates of hell open, and it's just like Angel, and everybody's dead and injured, and they're just against an entire army of demons, like, coming at them. And it's just like... let's go to work. And they just go running at it. You're like, this is how it ends? Spoiler alert. But,
They completed an entire final season in 3 episodes.
It did. It was crazy. Because it was supposed to really go for like a few more years. Because Whedon was into it, and they were all into it. And it was just like, oh my, when you watch that last episode, you're like, what are they? They're just, everybody's just going. Everybody. Good guys are getting killed, bad guys. And it just ends with a bang. And the comic was cool because they did pick it up where it left off, that he was in this demon world of hell. But, it was good. Angel's fantastic. I recommend it. Can anybody guess what my number one show is?
Oh, are you wearing the stupid shirt for them?
And my number one show is Lost. To me, it doesn't get any better. This show, for me, I feel because of Lost, you wouldn't have a lot of these shows. I feel you wouldn't have a show like Stranger Things if you didn't have Lost to kind of start all that stuff. J.J. Abrams was genius when he wrote this show. Justin's just watching it now. He's a little annoyed with the first season. But I have never experienced a show that everything you're watching matters. Like, I've watched other shows before where you're like, this is like a fluff kind of episode. You know, he beat up the guy in the alley. When you watch Lost, if Jack, the main character, gets in a bar fight with a guy, 3 years down the road, he may appear in some sort of way as like an important figure. And you're like, that's the guy from, oh, shit. Like, how did he know him? Whoever laid that out, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I'm not a writer, but I don't know how they put that all together, especially in the midst of all that, they had a writer's strike, which kind of, the one episode, season like 4 is only like 15 episodes because the writer's strike ended. They still were able to tie it all back together and end it well. It's just so, it gives you like drama and action and science and supernatural stuff, and it's just fantastic. It's just so engrossing to me, and I stopped, when it ended in 2010, I never watched it again. I just started watching it now, and it's like I'm watching it again for the first time. Like, I'm so into it. I'm so much more into it than shows that I'm recording that are new. I'm like, should I watch, like, The Strain's out right now. I'm like, oh, should I watch The Strain? I'm like, I don't watch Lost. I don't want to watch The Strain. I want to see what's going on. And what's funny about it is Alex has been watching it with me because he just sits there and he's, like, on his iPad, but then I can hear him press pause. And he's just like, oh, I really like that guy. Like, he's just telling me characters he likes, and I don't know. I think it's fantastic. I've been trying to get Ken to watch it. He doesn't want to watch it. Justin's watching it now. He's not too happy about it. But I told him, give it another season. Watch what happens.
Yeah, I'm at the point with this show where now I'm hooked. I've watched enough of it. Now I just have to know what happens. So I'm now hooked for 6 seasons after watching like 5 episodes of this show.
It goes by really fast. But, I think it's great. So anyway, those are mine. Let's take a little. We're going to take a little break in the middle here. My honorable mentions, real quick, from me. 2 of my favorite shows from the '80s: The A-Team and Knight Rider.
I had that written down for you.
Okay, I couldn't remember if those were if they qualified for this. I couldn't remember how long they were. So
they were great. Knight Rider was only a few seasons, so was A-Team, but they were both great. I love both those shows. So we're going to take a little break in the middle here before we get in our sitcoms. What was it that you wanted to bring up?
Well, no, I had trouble going into this new sitcoms one because at first when I sat down to make my list, I could only come up with 3, like right off the top of my head.
See, sitcoms is easy. I love sitcoms.
And then
a good one.
I got online. I just did Google search. I'm like, best sitcoms ever, and I was going through the list, and I'm like, and all of a sudden it just exploded, and I was like, oh my god, there's that show and that show and that show and that show, and so my list blew up. Well, one of the things I found was there are a couple shows that I had kind of deep honorable mentions that I love the show. It only made 2 seasons. I think it only made 2 seasons, or they got to 2 because they booked it for 2 seasons right from the beginning.
Like what?
Sullivan and Son.
Okay.
That show about the family that had the bar in Pittsburgh.
Shout out Pittsburgh.
I thought that was a hilarious show. There were a couple other ones. Men at Work, which was another TBS show, and then Ground Floor was another.
I don't think I've heard of
really
any of these.
See,
they were all TBS shows.
Yeah, they were all 3 of them were on TBS.
Damn you, TBS!
Justin's buying stock. He's like, this new sitcom lineup coming out from TBS is going to be a winner.
Bottom Floor, or whatever.
He's got like a mug from Bottom Floor shirt.
I mean, some of the ones that I liked that were like I really liked Firefly with.
I enjoyed that.
That didn't last. I loved Almost Human on Fox. That was like a robot cop show kind of thing. It only lasted 8 episodes, and they canceled it because Fox cancels anything that's science fiction.
Alphas was one of those ones I thought I was gonna like it and never watched it, and it only lasted a season because I think everybody.
Is that all it lasted was 1 season?
I think so.
Alphas, I don't know.
Because I think that was...
Oh, I thought he was saying Elf, not Elf. I was like, Elf was on for a long time. Alphas. Oh, what is that about?
It was kind of like...
It was vampires.
No, it was kind of like X-Men. I mean, these people had powers, and the government was after them to use their powers for...
That makes me think about Heroes. It was so good until the end.
Heroes is another one that, I mean, the first season of that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Even the second season wasn't too bad.
You know what that pissed me off, and I can never get the trust again from Heroes, is you wanted that big fight between the main dude,
Sylar,
Peter Petrelli, and Sylar, and they do it behind a frickin' door with lights. And after that,
you never saw
the fight. I'm like, you know what, F you. And then the guy's like, I don't need to do superhero shows or passe. They're never gonna wear costumes. And then he could have been so ahead of his time if he would have just embraced the nerd culture more.
Yeah, he was a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when they dropped that whole save the cheerleader, save the world stuff, people were, like, losing their mind off that.
One of my favorite artists, Tim Sale, did all the paintings that the guy did.
Yeah.
And I bought the whole Season 1 Collector's Edition because I had exclusive Tim Sale artwork in it.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I have the first season on DVD.
Yeah.
It was good. All right, we're ready to get into sitcoms.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, Don, top 5, go!
Oh, I'm first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you mixed it up for this one.
All right. So top 5 sitcoms. And at number 5 for me is Golden Girls.
I love the Golden Girls.
Oh, I love Golden Girls so much. Golden Girls is a show you could watch with your grandmother. You could watch it with your little sister. It doesn't matter who it was. They were like, this show's hilarious. Because everything about it was hilarious.
I still watch Golden Girls.
Oh, I still catch it if it's on.
Great show.
I bought all the pop vinyls for it.
Oh, so I wouldn't do that, but but it was great.
Yep.
It was great. I mean, you know, I don't know. Everybody knows the characters in the episodes, but Blanche was always my favorite.
Rewatching it as an adult, like, because I remember watching it with my mom watching it, and I was like, but like, she's just blatantly a whore. And just like,
she was blatantly a whore. Do you want to hear a funny story about the name Blanche?
Sure.
When I lived in this studio apartment, my neighbor, he was this gay guy, older dude, and he would come in, he would talk real sassy and stuff like that. He'd yell at me all the time. His nickname for me was Blanche.
Why?
Because he used to say I bitched and complained like Blanche Devereaux. So I would sit there and I would go like, we're not going to do that. And he'd go, okay, Blanche, shut your mouth, Blanche. And I'd be like, why is he calling me one of the Golden Girls, this guy? But anyway.
I thought it was going to be that he brought dudes home all the time to bang.
Yeah, and I slept with men for money and wore lingerie. It always grossed me out that Blanche would be sleeping with guys. Like, she's so old.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 4 for me, Married with Children.
Really?
I loved Al Bundy. Al Bundy was my hero growing up.
I feel like that was an age where if I could rewatch all those, like if it's on, I don't know if it is, I would rewatch all that because I think
it's on
I'd get
FX.
It. Is
you
it?
weren't going to get the jokes.
I don't think I would have got the jokes at my age. But
I was in love with Kelly Bundy. I mean,
yeah.
I thought she was so hot. I mean, every episode with she was just so good, and he was hilarious. The way he would talk to his wife, I used to think when I was younger, when I get older, I'm going to talk to my wife like Al Bundy now. Then I got married, and I was like, boy, that don't work. You can't talk like that, you know. But I mean, he was great, and I met him and got a shirt signed, and he's just great. I still like. That's why I like Modern Family, because Ed O'Neill's on there, and I think he's.
There's
amazing.
a funny thing: the newspaper that he read commonly on Married with Children showed up in an episode of Modern Family.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
There's a screenshot that shows, and it's the exact same paper.
Number 3 for me is Cheers. Nothing to say about that other than it was just awesome. I mean, everybody on there was awesome. I mean, it was a show that's so simple, just in a bar, people talking in a bar. There was nothing else to it, and everything was hilarious. Coach was hilarious. Woody Harrelson, when he replaced him, was even more hilarious. Yeah. I mean, Woody on there, some of the lines he would say was fantastic.
Yeah.
I used to love when the judge from Night Court would show up, and he was like a con artist.
Yeah.
And he would always trick Woody into giving him money and all that. I mean, it was... And then the girls on there were
I
just...
miss Night Court. That was a good show.
Night Court was just hilarious. Number 2 for me is an HBO show, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Which will lead into your number 1.
Because it's Larry David, who is another personal hero of mine. I mean, everything Larry David does is hilarious. I wish he would do another season because he never really said he was officially done. But I mean, if you were a Seinfeld fan, you got to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's just an angry Jewish guy walking around LA yelling at everybody. I feel like it's me because he hates everything that I hate. But I'm like, oh, I would so hate that. In the show, he just yells at it. And the great thing about Curb is he would get a bunch of his friends together. They would record it like on a single handheld camera. And it was all improv. There was never any lines written. He would tell them, like, okay, me and you are going to argue over, like, that this pizza's cold. And then he would just get in this thing yelling and going off, and that's what made it so great. It was like comedy gold. He'd be like, oh, my God, that scene was so funny. And he'd be like, we didn't rent that. It'd be like him and all these different comedians yelling at each other. But that leads into, what do you think my number one show is?
I'm surprised you don't have a shirt underneath it that's like,
Seinfeld shirt. But yeah, Seinfeld's the best sitcom ever made. I will argue that to the end of the earth. It's hilarious.
even the ending.
The ending for me, I like the ending of Seinfeld. A lot of people don't like that, but it made sense to me because they brought back every person that they've ever wronged and were a piece of shit to, and they testified against them on how much of horrible people they really are. Because that's the thing, they really are 4 horrible people. And then in the end, they were stuck with themselves because that's really the only people they liked was the 4 of them, and they were in prison. And the brilliancy of this is if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, the 9th season of Curb, Seinfeld never wanted to do a reunion. They do the reunion season inside the Curb season.
Okay.
So when you're watching Curb, they get the group together and they're like, we're going to do another Seinfeld show because we don't like the ending. They're fighting over the ending. Because Larry David had left and he came back for the 9th season.
Okay.
So when you're watching it, it's like him interacting with Kramer. They do all the thing about Michael Richards when he was yelling at black guys on stage. They do like a funny skit with that. And they modernize it. Like George is building apps for the iPhone. It's how to locate a toilet. And it's like, and he got all this money over it and all this stuff. And when you watch the last episode, you get to watch the Seinfeld reunion show inside the hour-long episode. Like it shows you them going up to it, and then it actually shows it going on, and then they would cut back and show you behind the scenes, and it was brilliant. It was a great way for them to do it because they said, we'll never do Seinfeld, and they didn't. They just did it inside Curb, which was great. But I love Seinfeld. I watch it every day still. I have recorded all the time and watch it. I love it, and that's mine. I have no honorable mentions. No, I do. 2 honorable mentions. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Modern Family.
There you go.
All right. Who's next?
I think I'm next on the list.
All right.
In at number 5, and I'm gonna maintain my list here how I have it. I've been going back and forth over my number 5 pick, but number 5 is 2.5 Men before Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
Again, all of these shows I never watched when they were on initially. I caught up later through syndication or whatever.
Okay.
And this was one of those shows I watched every night when I would come home from work. It was like Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men.
They're like your dinner shows.
Yeah, and that was how I got, and I've seen now every single episode of 2.5 Men up until when it turned into a crap show with Ashton Kutcher.
I've never really watched it. I've seen a couple episodes when like Megan Fox was on.
I mean it was basically the same show every week. Charlie would get drunk and bang some hot chick, and Alan would be stupid and make funny jokes, and Jake would fart, and people would laugh. It was funny. It was Charlie Sheen being Charlie Sheen, really.
All right.
But it was a funny show. Number 4 is The Golden Girls.
Okay.
Wow. Is that the first? Oh, well, you guys did with the dramas with Buffy and Angel.
Yeah, and
the dramas.
For me, the reason that show still sticks with me is I used to watch it with my grandma. Yeah. When I would go over and spend like a week or so in the summer with her, we would watch that whenever it was on, and it was bonding time with like my favorite person in the world.
Right.
And
mine too. Yep.
So in at number 3, How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, yeah.
Another
that's
show
be on his list. Yeah.
Another show.
That's a great show.
I picked up in syndication and ended up watching every episode.
I've never watched that all the way through, but anytime I've ever watched an episode, I've laughed my ass off and been like, I need to watch this, and then I never do.
Yeah. So I actually did. I picked this up with about 3 seasons left, I think, and I watched the final 3 seasons. I watched straight like as they were on.
And I would say that just like I mentioned with Lost, that's another show that was brilliantly written.
Yeah.
The way it was all put together.
Oh, yeah,
except for the fact the finale pissed me off. But
Yeah.
We'll
Okay,
save it. Go ahead.
all right. Number 3. Number 2 is The Simpsons for me.
Okay.
And that's the one I've watched that show from when it first started.
I watched it for the first 10 years
Because-
and then I gave up.
I had to like sneak watch it because my parents didn't want me watching that foul-mouthed yellow little boy. And
It sounded like it was almost racist. It was almost a racist statement. That foul-mouthed little yellow boy.
yeah, it did sound pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I've watched. I've lost track of it in the last few years. I pick it up here and there, but
Yeah.
like you said, the first 10 seasons, I'll even go the first 20 seasons. It's great.
How often can you say that? The first 20 seasons are great. But
Just the first 20. The last 80 seasons kind of dull. What's in at number 1?
In at number 1 for me is Big Bang Theory. And
Show.
I picked that up about 5 or 6 seasons in on syndication, and then I binge watched everything to get caught up, and then I've been watching it ever since. It has dropped in quality a little bit over the last 2 seasons, season and a half, 2 seasons.
I think it's really bad
But
nowadays.
I still enjoy it. It still makes me laugh. I still like the characters.
I don't want to shit on your number 1, but can I tell you why I hate that show?
Yeah.
Sure, tell us, Hawk.
Here's why I hate this show. Hey, Ken, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work at a comic book store. Oh, like in the Big Bang Theory. How about you go f*** yourself? Because no, it's not anything like the guy at the Big Bang Theory. It's totally different. We actually do have personalities. And
And we can talk to women.
Yeah.
And we're not all goofy and,
Yeah.
and all that crap. Yeah, I get
It bothers me. It pisses me off.
it. Right.
No, it's not exactly like you see in the sitcom. Like
Ken has an apartment. He doesn't live in the back of the store.
Right.
yeah. Well, there was times I've slept. That's beside the point.
What are your honorable mentions?
So I have a bunch of honorable
All right.
mentions.
Well,
here. I'll go
we're
through quick.
it's already going long.
Fresh Prince,
Yeah.
Married with Children.
Okay.
For the same reason as Golden Girls. And my grandma, she didn't. It was one of those weird ones where she didn't think my parents wanted me to watch it. So when I was over there, she let me watch it.
Okay.
And then a new one, Silicon Valley on HBO. It's only 3 seasons in, but I
That's a comedy?
absolutely love that show.
I've only seen one episode of that show, and that's when they're trying to figure out how a guy can jerk off 2 dicks at the same time.
Wow.
And they're like-
Wow.
It's like they do schematics, and I'm like, all right, this is funny, but this is the only thing I find humorous. in this.
Wow.
It is. It's like I said, 3 seasons, but I love that show. It is
All right.
great.
Kenny.
All right. Number 5 is Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
I think it's hilarious. I like the writing of the show. The one kid dresses up like a hamburger and like farts into a keyboard and plays
I
music.
feel like all those shows to me now are all the same show, and I don't know which one. It's all like American Dad, Family Guy. Are these all made by Seth MacFarlane?
This isn't made by Seth MacFarlane.
Is this the Simpson people, or
No,
this
it's
is all
actually
different?
this is all different. Like this
Okay.
is. I would recommend watching the first season, but then it's starting to hit its stride now because the secondary characters have more like content to the show.
Okay.
So like his oldest daughter has like sex dreams. She's young, so she's attracted to zombies. So she just like has dreams about her kissing zombies and touching their butts, and it's hilarious.
Wow.
It's very odd. It's my kind of like weird humor,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic.
Okay.
All right. So number 4 is, I don't know why no one said this, Arrested Development. Number 4,
yeah,
Arrested Development,
yeah.
I think is an amazing
It was
show.
good. It was good. It was
I've
pretty
never
funny.
watched a single episode of that show.
Well, do yourself a favor and watch it. I
It
think
is
it's
good.
great.
It is funny.
I've rewatched this.
I haven't watched them all of them, but it is funny.
So I think it's great. The first 2 seasons are amazing.
How was the Netflix season when they came back?
It was good. And then what was interesting about the Netflix season was, and they're supposed to do another one, is they wrote it. You can rewatch the season in different ways to get different aspects of the story. Like if you go online, they'll be like, because it hops around a lot per character. So if you want to watch it in order, it's very strange. And I watched it twice until I got everything that happened. But
so it's kind of like a watch by numbers thing. They'll say like, if you want to see this character's point of view, watch 1, 2, 3,
Exactly.
8, 4, 9. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
Wow.
All right. Number 3 is Parks and Rec. Parks and Recreation, I think, was a great show. I thought it was amazing. I think that Chris Pratt, that's where you saw how awesome he is.
Yeah, he was good.
Aubrey, what's her, I can't remember her last name, but the chick that's married to him in the show.
Okay.
Post this in the comments that I don't know names of shit because I don't do any research.
Right.
So I think it's hilarious. I also like the main chick.
Isn't Aziz Ansari in that
Aziz
show?
is hilarious.
He's
That's where does the apps
Amy
and
Poehler.
Amy Poehler is the girl that's the other.
Yeah.
And Audrey Plaza is the other chick. I think the whole cast is great.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is The Office.
Oh, yeah. The Office was good.
I remember when this show first came out because I liked Steve Carell from The Daily Show, and I saw they had a show on NBC, and this is when I had a TiVo. I TiVo'd the first episode, and I watched that the entire time.
Yeah, The Office was good. Did you ever watch the UK version of it?
I tried. Like,
A little different.
I like UK shows, which I'll do my honorable mention, but like the UK and the first seasons are the same. So once you watch the American version, I didn't feel any need to watch the UK version.
They only did 2 seasons of it.
Yeah. Now, my number 1, the reason I kind of want to stop you is number 1 is How I Met Your
It's
Mother.
How I Met Your Mother.
I love that show. That was another show that I watched the first. Like, I watched the first one. I'm like, this seems like an interesting premise, and I was hooked. I bought the DVDs of it.
You really liked it.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Who's your favorite character on there? Is it Barney?
I like Marshall. He's the guy from Minnesota. Barney's hilarious. That's what's his face?
Neil Patrick Harris.
NPH.
The last crush that I can remember having on someone was his mother, like the mother that he meets, like because for the whole one season they actually show her and how intertwined she is, which I thought the writing was done really well in a sitcom.
Yeah. And why don't you like the ending?
Because
What is the ending? Spoilers.
so we can vent about this since we're both here now. So the ending shows him talking to the kids, and he talks about how much he loves his mother, and then the mother ends up dying from cancer. And then in an older state, he realizes the one he should have been with the entire time was Robin through the entire show.
Okay.
Which freaking pisses me off.
You didn't want him with Robin.
I agree.
No.
I loved the mother.
Yeah, the mother was great. I wish she wouldn't have died. Like, the whole point was...
When did you finally meet her?
Like 2 episodes before the end of the show.
And she
No.
was
No, it was. She was in the entire last season.
She showed up at the end of the second to last season. She's in the last episode. She then is they intertwine her with. She meets everyone else in the cast before she meets. What's his name? What's the main character's name? I can't remember now.
Oh, whatever.
But
You're all drawing a blank and we're wasting time. Go ahead.
sorry, jeez. So she meets everybody else, and then she finally meets the main character, Ted Mosby, and it like towards the last couple episodes, and then they meet, and they finally and all it does is they show them meeting for the first time and getting on the train in the second to last episode. The last episode is the lives after the show, and then because it's like a longer episode, he says that.
And the whole entire time he's telling these stories to his kids.
Yeah.
It's a long story.
Yeah.
They're like, Dad.
Imagine
Christ.
you telling your kids every person you ever banged as a sitcom. That's what the show is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be called Every Person Ever Banged.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's I think it's great. I love when it comes back on in syndication. I'll watch it and chuckle. There's parts where I got really pissed off, like whenever Marshall's fiance breaks up with him to go live in San Francisco for a year.
I feel like a show like that is a little more than a sitcom. It's almost like a half-hour drama. Because it's funny, but there's more story
Yeah,
development.
like the episode where Marshall finds out his dad's dead, which is his dad was the guy from Coach, the big tall guy. It was sad.
It's different. It's not like watching Cheers or any of
No.
the shows where it was just they didn't tie in it, or Seinfeld. Just every episode was just funny about something. That was like a drama. That was like a half-hour drama.
Like that was another thing where this is all together. Like you have to watch this because of the entire story. And I love it. I'll rewatch it.
Right. Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I'm surprised no one said Mama's Family. I think that show's great.
Mama's Family.
Archer on FX, and then the British TV show The IT Crowd.
Oh, the It Crowd.
Yeah, is hilarious. The first episode of the second season is the funniest sitcom you'll ever watch.
First episode of the second season.
Yes.
You're the second person today that's told me I need to watch that
I watched
show.
2 episodes of it, and I really didn't like it when you recommended it to me.
Oh, really?
I was like,
Where can I find it?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay.
It literally, if you don't need to watch, because I haven't finished it, but I rewatched the first episode of the second season, is some of the funniest thing I've ever seen.
All right.
And I don't want to spoil it, but watch it if you have Netflix.
All right. Well, anything else? We beat the shit out of this topic,
Hey,
huh?
just like the Yin Yang Twins, we beat it up.
Hey. Sorry, this is supposed to be a short one. This is like an hour.
Is it?
It's long, yeah. We went off on this one.
We're like 45
shit.
minutes, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, this is what happens when we have a top 10.
Exactly. But hey, thanks for listening to all this. We hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Probably not.
And, well, whatever. We don't give a shit what you think. But, no, we do. We love
Leave in
it.
the comments about how I don't know the names of people. And my theories are stupid.
And that's it. Anybody got anything else? Or are we saying goodbye? Justin.
All right.
Peace out.
Ken.
Thanks for listening.